Her. I brought everyone in the wrong order, didn't I?
You did. I fixed it.
Okay, thank you.
Because I did not
Maybe I was
want
trying
to
to change it up. Maybe I was trying to change it up.
Well, David would have instantly flipped it around anyway. So.
Oh no, was I right there?
You were at the top.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they would have been like, "Oh no, oh no."
And instantaneously would have been like, "Oh God, no." Yeah, you're right.
Like, oh no. That's what
you're right. You're right. Anyway, hi, hello. Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Currently, I am just drinking some water because it is a very warm day here. It's currently 96 degrees. So we are definitely needing to stay hydrated on this day today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We want to stay hydrated because that's too hot.
But you're inside.
Yes, and it's a lovely, sensible 74 inside.
Okay.
Which is why I'm not going outside because it's 96.
Well,
like it's so hot outside. I got to stay hydrated inside.
It absolutely.
Well, you do. I do have to go outside later, and I'm not thrilled about it. We're getting to the time of the year where I'm like, oh God, I dread going outside.
Sorry.
Well,
Lana.
it's a sensible 81 here, so
ooh,
still a little warm, but whatever. But I am Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea purr. And I am also drinking water because it's 81 degrees outside, even though I don't plan on going outside at all today because why? So, and you can get you a cup mug too if you want.
To stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated with your cup mug and
with junk in it.
I mean, you can put junk in it, or you can take all the junk out and drink out of it because it's no tip of shake it. But you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. You get the cup mug or any of our cup merch, period. We do ship domestically here in the U.S. and Mexico and Canada. And we also ship internationally again, so there are no excuses. I figured out what I was doing wrong. Yay.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute temperature, and it is 83 degrees.
You're probably me.
Yep.
Wow.
But I also have a cute shirt. You might be able to tell kind of what this is referencing just by seeing the top part. But no, I'm wearing my Alyssa Edwards shirt, and she's doing the scream. Ah!
How fitting for this episode of RuPaul's Drag Race.
I know. And she's on TV right now. So go watch her on The Goat, and then come watch the coverage on The Cup TV.
Period.
And I'm just thinking
before we be out eventually.
Yep.
But, yeah. We're getting around to it. We forgot that episodes come out on Thursdays. So we'll do it eventually. But yes, we are back. It is episode 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 9, the second half of our beautiful double premiere. I love that they did the double premiere again because both of these episodes were very, very lovely to have in conjunction. And now I'm just like, well, I would like more Drag Race. More Drag Race right now would be very nice. But if you did not check out our recap of episode 1, we did an episode recap as well as a look over here for all of the looks from the premiere. Make sure to go check that out over there. It'll be right up there. Boom. But this is just going to be episode 2 where we're talking about the paintball. Y'all know I was happy when I found out that it was a paintball. Art. So we're going to dive into that. Before we do that, make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. And currently, that just means All Stars 9. For now. There may be some cute, lovely, wonderful things coming on the horizon. So make sure to check those out when they do. You can head to the description below as well to find all 3 of our other YouTube channels, our audio podcast links, and our membership channel links. So go check those out too. We do a lot of gorgeous, lovely content all across everything. So we are diving into this episode. We come back in. Angeria has won the first challenge. And Georges, she got a badge. She didn't realize she got a badge, but she got a badge. I was like, oh, baby Georges. Oh.
So deserved.
Well. No.
We don't have a sarcasm deserve button, unfortunately.
Right. I'm like,
deserved.
Oh, we can always use a deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to start making that a negative thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let's see at the other deserves. It'd be like deserved, and then the deserve.
And Roxy walks in. My favorite part of this episode is when Angie goes to hide behind the couch and she just pops up. She's like,
like she's hiding, but her hair is so high you still see the top
I
of
know.
her head.
She got that good updo on.
With that good updo on, she hiding like this. Top of her head just showing. Lovely. Lovely time.
I loved it. I love it. Roxy took it, very well. Obviously, she took it as a compliment, which I think in this case is kind of what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you get blocked, people think you're a competition.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I'll take it.
And I mean, I think Angie kind of put it out there very plainly and was like, look, I am going to block people who are competition for me. That's just what I plan to do. And so nobody should be surprised. And if you get blocked, it's because you're competition. Nobody's blocking not their competition. If you want, I'll be offended if you don't block me. Oh, you think you could just beat me? Is that what we doing? So I think they took it how it was given. And I think that's why I said, I feel like that's the bar that was set for this season. And I think people are going to do that, block people who they think are competition for them. And Roxy did just win the reading challenge. So she has money in her charity box for her donation box.
I kind of love that. Her donation box.
Her donation box for the charity.
Miracle of Love has a cute little donation now. So does the National Black Justice Coalition.
Absolutely. So I feel like in that moment, that just made sense. She has money in her charity box, in her donation box, and she is somebody who is a real well-rounded queen, according to what everybody is saying. So it makes sense to do that. And I just think that should be the trend going forward. And it looked like it was.
Definitely. But yeah, so there's no beef. No. Even though there might be the playful shade between Roxy and Angie on this episode, I loved.
Mm-hmm,
we'll talk about it more later. But
they're sisters.
They're sisters.
The way RuPaul is like, which sister would you like to scissor? Like the whole sequence of it is so camp, and I'm really enjoying it. But yes, we come back into the workroom the next day. RuPaul walks in a garment.
Spread suit outfit.
Yeah, it was cute. The RuPaul look also, I want to say I love it. It's very classic, but I love that it's got like the dress with the little like almost blazer sort of situation. It looks very like Dynasty, but like a businesswoman from the era of Dynasty. Not necessarily one of the characters, but like businesswoman. Mm-hmm. I liked it. And that was all. But we find out that it is the ball for episode 2 because they can't go any further into the season without doing a damn ball. Thanks, Ru.
I mean, but it is what is a non-elimination season. The ball can go anywhere. It doesn't have to be at the first episode.
I feel like it's been episode 2 now for like 5 seasons.
Well, then if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Because 6 it was.
7 it was for sure.
8 it was.
8 it was.
No, 8 it was episode 3. Because they did the RDR Live episode 2. Yeah,
that's right.
So it's fairly common to be an episode 2 challenge. I would like it later in the season personally, but that's just me. Especially on a non-elimination, like you were saying, Lana. But it is the paintball. We are giving 3 categories, which are monochromatica, My roommate thought it was literally like, oh, it's Lady Gaga. I was like, no, honey.
No, it's one
It's
color.
monochromatic, but make it gay, so it's monochromatica. But we're doing monochromatica. Drag imitates art. I was very happy about that. And then we have paintball eleganza, where starting with basic fabrics, you have to create a look in the workroom and paint it. I have to say, I think this is one of the more unique third look, make it in the workroom ball looks that we've had in a while. I loved this concept. And I loved it in execution. We'll talk about it. But I thought it was, I love this idea.
Yeah, I like it too. But when it was first mentioned, I was just picturing everybody hand painting. And I'm like, whoa. It's going to take a while, and it's going to be high variance on how good it is, because not everybody can paint by hand. But then I saw, oh, they got stencils, they got spray paint, they've got all sorts of things. So that made a lot more sense in sight that they would do it that way. But it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It was cool. I enjoyed the whole concept of it all. And I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun ball to watch. Absolutely.
Well, we've got a lot of good fashion girls, too, on this season. So I was like, ooh. When we saw the cast announced, I was like, oh, the ball and any fashion challenges are going to be so good on this season, because the girls are just going to bring it in a different way. And then there's Nina.
Well, with that said, there are two specific people that I expected to do well in this, and that was Plastique and Gottmik. We'll see if they did well, but just knowing that they had a record of doing well in design challenges, even though I wouldn't have necessarily given the ball win to somebody.
Utica was robbed.
She was. She was.
Sorry. Not sorry. But.
And so Georges has also won a design challenge for some reason.
Literally for some reason. And I love that she had the cognizance to be like, some people are still mad that I won that design challenge. I am one of them. Oh, Lord, not my ring light going off.
Your ring light's mad too?
My ring light is also mad. My ring light is also mad. But she was like, at the end of the day, you can't do anything about it. That's what it says on Wikipedia. And I'm like, you're not wrong.
Right. You're right.
You're right. This whole workroom sequence I thought was so fun to see. And the thing that stood out to me the most is we're actually filming outside.
Oh, yeah.
There is daylight. We are filming outside. I was like, is this the first time we're getting in a main episode, like outside stuff? Because we see it all the time in Untucked when they're going between like the main stage and the Untucked studio. But I was like, I don't remember ever seeing it on the main episode. I was like, this is so cool to see, like, and obviously they had to because there was spray paint involved and a lot of people were spray painting, so I get it. But I was like, this is so fun. And this episode really started to show us the relationships. I'm not necessarily going to say the alliances, but more so the duos that are very naturally forming within this cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I really like seeing the progress, like specifically for them designing these looks, because usually it's just a lot of cutting and sewing, but it was just so much more intricate with what they had to do. I think my favorite part of the entire episode, though, was when Plastique laid out her fabric and she took her spray and she put her first little spray of paint on there. And Georges is off in the corner like, oh my gosh, this is going to look so good. And Angeria is like, she just sprayed a little
She put one spray on there and you're like, oh my God.
And you look and it's like, it literally still just looks like
white fabric. It is a piece of white fabric with like, you couldn't even see the spray paint that Plastique had put on this fabric.
I was like, what is she talking about? It's so weird.
Speaking of Georges, my whole favorite sequence is Georges and this damn stencil. Where she is hand stenciling, which I love. And I love that she went that route of hand stenciling. And I love that she couldn't get it. And she couldn't get it. And she couldn't get it. And Chanel comes over and is like, just use a sponge and like use the sponge on it. And Georges was like, Chanel, you're so smart. I'm like, yeah, she's been doing this for almost 30 years, Georges, of course. Like,
absolutely. It's funny. My favorite part of this whole thing was Roxy was like, if I was the Roxy of 15 years
Season
ago,
5 Roxy,
I wouldn't help none of these girls. But now I'm like, oh, server number 9, server number 8. And it was like, Roxy. Oh, I'm coming, baby. Roxy, oh, I'll be right there in the back, baby. I'm on my way, baby. And then when we get to Angina, Roxy, she was like, Roxy, is this the backstitch? So, and she was like, is this the backstitch? And she was like, I'm not helping you, Angie.
When everyone else was like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And all Angie asked for was the backstitch.
She was like, is this the backstitch? I'm not helping you, Angie.
Now I'm thinking about this. Is Angina the duo name on All Stars between Ageria and Angina? Because I would love to see that.
Maybe. I don't know that I would love to see that.
I think I would love to see it.
I'm okay on seeing one of those queens for a while. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not Angeria. But
I ran into Angina at Fat Slut.
Oh, cool.
It was and we were all sharing the only vent at precinct. She was like,
she's
I squeeze in
queen.
here? She's gorge.
Not a gorge, great queen lovely. For Drag Race.
One of those queens. Well, her first time.
Even then, I don't know.
It was season 1. Get over it.
True. But I do think that was kind of a bit with Angeria, because Angeria's question did not feel like a legit question. I think they set that up. They're like, let's make a TV moment here. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cute. I mean, that'd be cute.
Yeah. I think
it was a good moment, and then they edited that perfectly. Like,
yeah.
It was like, Roxy, I'm on my way. I'm coming, baby. I'm helping, baby. I'm not helping you, Angie.
I'm not helping you, Angie.
Angie. Like, it was so funny. I thought that was.
I think it was Plastique. I think that was like, Angie, how do you feel now knowing that you blocked Roxy for this challenge? And Angie is like, I could not be happier.
She's like, I'm even more thrilled seeing that she is like killing this whole sewing game. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy that the person who I think could possibly win this thing could not really actually get a badge for winning. Right. So it makes sense. And
this is one of those challenges that you would want to block Roxy for, because Roxy did, I believe, make most of her package for all 3 seasons she was on. Mm-hmm. So I would have wanted to block Roxy in this scenario too. For sure. So,
didn't she win she didn't win the candy ball?
She did.
Okay, I thought so.
They didn't bring it up, which was strange, because they were asking who won the ball challenges. I was like, didn't Roxy win the sugar ball?
Sugar ball, that's it, not candy ball.
Because it was in Alaska. Unless it was it Alaska?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Google will tell us, but I'm too lazy.
I am gonna go Google it.
Okay. While we do that, I did want to talk about Chanel. We saw her working on her look, and she's like, everybody else is painting. I'm gonna take it steps beyond that. I'm gonna be actual hard constructing things. And she's like asking, does anybody have pliers?
Right.
And this was where we find out that she has a famous house for like decorating Christmas. And I had no idea about this. But then
I was more than aware.
Yeah. When she started talking about it, I'm like, okay, Christmas decorations. Like there's houses here that do that. And then they showed it and I'm like,
it's gorgeous.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
I want to go.
She has a Christmas house, baby.
She has a business.
Yeah, like her business is decorating Christmas. She said she decorates for the Raiders.
For the Raiders stadium now, too.
Like what? Yeah. Crazy.
And then I would be remiss, since Brooke is not here, I would be remiss if I did not mention that Chanel is the winner of the Great Christmas Light Fight.
Absolutely.
And deserved. You know what? That deserves a deserve. Hold on.
Deserve. Yeah.
But that's the only reason I knew that Chanel had like such good stuff, was because love you, Brooke, if you're watching, but Brooke goes on and on and on and on about the fact that Chanel won the Great Christmas Light Fight. So I was very aware of that factoid. So
I was aware of that before Brooke even had to say anything.
Oh, I wasn't. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I actually
The
watched
Christmas
that.
Light Fight is not a show that I personally would ever watch, but that does feel like a show that you would watch, Lana.
I look forward to the Christmas light show because I like any kind of competition shows and like baking shows and decorating shows. And so the Christmas light show is something I love seeing every week. And seeing how creative people can get with Christmas decorations. It's wild what these people can do. So yeah, I saw it and I saw her win it, but I didn't know who she was. Because I wasn't in a drag race at the time. So I had no idea who she was. And they hardly ever mentioned that she was a drag queen. So because
interesting.
It was just like I think they said it, but I don't think it connected to me that she was a drag queen that could possibly have been on Drag Race. But
sure.
I just don't think that Drag Race wasn't in my vocabulary. It wasn't in my train of thought to even think about Drag Race. So I didn't think about it. But I did see her win the show. And I thought that at that moment, it was he won the show because he wasn't in drag at the time. And he was just like the decorations that they put together was insane. Like if you lived on that block with him, and his partner, whoever, you knew you ain't stand no chance of winning in that. You see every year, like, man, nah, that's the house to go to for Christmas decoration.
I want to go see it in person this year.
I would love to see that in person, like seriously.
I could. I'm close enough. Vegas is not a horrible trip for me to justify. So
I'm going to Vegas next year anyway. So let's see if I'm gonna go to Christmas.
We get a lot of workroom Rue in this episode as well, which I do like. We get a lot more workroom Rue in Untucked though. Like a lot more. And I loved seeing all the it was a lot more emotional conversations, and the girls in Untucked were talking about Rue dropping bits of wisdom, and we see a conversation with Angeria talking about what is the show done for you beyond the money, and talking about Chanel and how she's coming back with a renewed sense of wanting to be here. And I was I wish some of those moments had made it into the show, because I love the conversations that they did have about the looks and the charities and things like that. And also the fact that the catchphrase of the season is just "for charity, bitch" is very entertaining to me. So thank you, Vanjie.
But speaking of Vanjie, my favorite interaction with Rue was her talking to Vanjie and talking about that look that Vanjie went home in on season 10. And
when you were, what was the word that Rue used instead of eliminate?
Oh, when you were released.
When you were released from season 10, and Vanjie was like, did I get out of prison or something? Damn, okay.
But yeah, she was talking about how she just left that outfit behind and then found it when she came back for season 11. She said she just found it near the Untucked lounge. I'm like, what? That's crazy if they literally just left it there. For a year.
Yeah. I'm like,
and she talked about how she took it and she was like, I'll sell this on eBay.
Come on, eBay.
Rue's like, eBay?
Come through, eBay.
Yeah, eBay, where you sell things, but I decided not to.
These are the Vanjie moments that I'm like, all right, I like Vanjie.
Oh, I don't think Lana likes those.
I like Vanjie.
Okay, you were just making a face I can't.
No, because I was just.
We're talking about stuff that Lana hasn't seen on Drag Race before, so that's why we're getting the eye roll.
Well, what we were just talking about, they showed it on this episode.
Well,
but that don't mean I know what you're talking about.
The eBay of it all.
Don't mean I know.
Anyway, they're putting their stuff together. They're doing their things. We're seeing the girls in the snack room as well. We see there's a shot through a window of Mick and Vanjie eating snacks, and I'm like, this is the most in-depth look we've gotten about the logistics of the Drag Race stage, and I really loved it. That's so, I love that. But the rest of the conversation is really all right, well, who are we blocking now that Angie has made the big move? Who are we taking out? And also looking at the duos that have kind of formed. We get a little bit of that from Chanel, where we see, we heard a lot throughout both episodes about Plastique and Roxy being very, very close, because they were both longtime permanent performers in the Vegas Review show. So they have a lot of history. Angie and Georges were obviously on the same season, so they've got, you know, a good connection. Mick and Vanjie have a very close connection already. Nina and Chanel have a very like similar type of drag, and they're both women of a certain age, so they
Or
also.
Nina though. She probably
Right.
watches back and Chanel's like, basically by default, I'm
Right. And I was like, oh no. Well, their stations are also right next to each other, aren't they?
Right. I don't know.
I think they're, I don't remember. But it's interesting to see that this season, as opposed to, you know, the attempt by the Twinners on All Star 7 of like the alliances and like playing it like Survivor, I find it interesting that this season we're kind of just seeing duos form. And that's really what we're seeing, is it's just, we've got 4 duos, and I'm curious to see if that's going to influence what we see as far as the social strategy part of the season moving forward.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see if any of the duos actually block or snip each other,
Snip each
one
other.
another
Yeah.
at some point, because I almost feel like they're setting up a storyline for either Roxy or Plastique, one of them, to do it to the other.
Oh, that's not
Just
who I think it's going to be.
The way Roxy keeps bringing it up, like, I would never do it to her. I'm like, I think it's going to happen one to the other, but we'll see.
I can see it. I think the duo that has the most likelihood of that, honestly, is Chanel and Nina. Because I see Chanel getting it up, because I'm going to be really honest. I am happy to see Chanel on this season. I already kind of don't see her winning. And I know that's like sad to say, but I'm just like, I don't know. I hope she proves me wrong, but I don't know that the judges are going to appreciate Chanel as much as she deserves to be appreciated. And so I see Chanel being the kind of girl where like she's going to get a shot. If she wins a lip sync, gets that opportunity, I see her potentially blocking someone like Nina, because Nina is very big competition in this circumstance.
So. I could see that for sure. Yeah, the only other thing I had to talk about during the workroom was the conversation with Angeria and Roxy, where Angeria was talking about her drag mother and how she's a huge fan of Roxy's, and how they used to watch the show and like get into like arguments because Angeria was such a big Jinx fan.
Right.
And Roxy's like, oh, so you got an argument because you didn't like me. She's like, well, yep.
So that's why you blocked her. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciated the honesty from Angeria, because let's be real, most of us didn't really like Roxy.
I was a Jinx fan and I did not like Roxy.
Right.
I will say that right now.
She made it hard. She made it very hard for you to like her and Jinx at the same time. So
yeah. Speaking of those people, I looked it up. Alaska won that ball.
Oh, not what I remembered. Was Roxy top 2?
I remembered either. Yeah, Roxy. Well, Roxy was top 2 because then Jinx and Detox were at the bottom.
Yeah, of course.
Revisionist history, I guess. But with that being said, shall we go to the everything else?
Sure.
With our fabulous guest judge, Stephanie Shu.
Yay. Love her.
I kind of wish she was here for an acting challenge. I'm not going to lie. But I was so happy to see her, and she looks gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Oh, go ahead, Lana. Sorry.
I like her. I appreciated her. I love her outfit. I love that shirt. I was sad that Ru gave us a long maxi dress, though. I was like, where's my shortness? Where's the legs? But it's okay.
Well, I'll talk about my thoughts on the look later. But I was like, for once, it feels like Ru is actually matching the category of the runway.
Absolutely. I do think that too.
I was like, oh, work, Ru. Come on, a kind of impressionist, like watercolor kind of gown moment, sure. Michelle's cute, and Ross is wearing that damn same jacket again. So whatever.
No, it was gold and black last time.
It's
He's
similar.
got like 4 of them, and he rotates between them.
Well,
I'm excited that next week we have Carson Kressley, who brings good fashions to the runway of this show.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for Maddie to come back so we can get some actual fashion.
Okay.
But it's fine.
Yeah, I do want to like add on that I really love Stephanie. They mentioned
love
like
her.
Oscar nominated, but honestly, most people are like she probably should have won the Oscar. Yeah, and I really love Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I've seen a few other movies that she's been in since, like Joyride. She's just so funny, and like I really can't wait to see her in more and more things moving forward. But yeah, she's great.
Yeah. The conversation that Plastique has with her in Untucked was like a really, really sweet and lovely moment too, and I absolutely loved. I loved that Plastique got that moment also. But let's talk about the paintball.
Ooh, look at that background.
Oh, thank you very much.
Very artistic.
I was like, I literally had to roll through because a bunch of the preset ones I had already done for other art categories on other franchises. Because there were like 3 of them last year across the world. So I was like, shit, I got to come up with something else. But we have the paintball. Our categories are monochromatica, drag imitates art, and paintball eleganza. Like we did in our episode 1 recap, we're going to do some word association. Since we're not diving in fully into the looks here, and we are fully diving into them over
here.
So we're gonna do some word association on the collection on a whole, and this one I could say maybe a phrase.
Yeah, that sounds better for this since we're doing 3 kind of.
It could be a word, it could be a phrase. I'm open-minded. Or sure, something like that. So. First up, Angeria.
For me, solid recovery from her workroom like malfunction, I guess. Yeah, she was solid.
I would say this is all around good.
Very, very, very solid. And good. Chanel.
Impressive overall catalog here.
Work diva.
Beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. I won't do a third because there wasn't a third beautiful gown. Roxy Andrews.
For me, mixed bag, but a little disappointing.
Ooh. Lana.
I'm thinking.
All right.
I think it. You know what? Mixed bag.
Okay.
Mixed nuts. Mixed bag.
All right. All right. Maybe helping everybody in the workroom cost her a top 2 placement.
Oh. Oop.
That's all. Got Meek.
Very strong effort here.
Diverse collection.
One of the best ball performances I've ever seen on Drag Race. For sure. Nina West.
Uneven, but overall fun.
Honestly, pretty decent.
I think she peaked at the start, and it just went downhill from there. Vanessa Vanjie.
Girl.
Damn you, David, that was gonna be mine.
I'm mad at it.
Girl. And I'm directly quoting the transition
Untucked.
music from Untucked.
Mhm.
David's might have just been girl. Mine is girl.
Which is
Along
Cameron
with-
Michaels, right?
No, I thought it was Bob the drag queen.
No, I'm pretty sure that's Cameron Michaels.
Is it Cameron?
Mhm.
Oh. I was never aware.
I just found out pretty recently.
Oh, wow. I always thought it was Bob. I always thought it was Bob. But yes, girl with some criminal offense side eye. Plastic.
Look, I stole yours. You stole mine earlier.
Uh-huh.
One of the best ball performances ever.
Werk diva. Period.
Definitely one of the best ball performances of all time. Gorgeous like Georges.
Perfectly fine.
She looked cute.
Girl. But the other way. This time I'm leaning towards the other side. No, that's not going to be mine.
No
Bell
take backs.
Not no take backs. You gotta stick with what you said. But no.
Okay, well, I'm going to say, okay, my actual one is bell curve.
How about
Okay.
girl bell curve?
Girl, bell curve. There you go. That's better. That's better. That's better. Oh. And suddenly we're through the ball just like that. No, we have to talk about them later.
I think we already have a pretty clear top two just from talking
I
about it.
think we all might potentially agree with the top two of the episode.
And I messaged my roommate. I'm like, for me, I absolutely have a specific top two. And I'm going to be
Absolutely.
mad if it's not the top two.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, guess what, David? It was,
It was
the
a top
top
two.
two. Because obviously the top two of this episode was going to be
Obviously.
Plastic and Gottmik. I don't think there was anyone else that could have been in the top two.
No.
Though I will personally say, I think that the other two people in the top four were correct.
Yeah, that's fair. I did get nervous because it felt like they were building up a storyline for Roxy to be in the top two. We even had a very specific thing about her and Plastique talking about who to block, and Roxy was like, I think I'm going to block Nina. And so I was just getting nervous because I'm like, I just saw this and Roxy did good, but she is not top two. So I was prepared to be mad. But I wasn't mad.
No, not mad.
No, me too.
I will say Untucked, I personally kind of already talked about everything that went on in Untucked that I noted. Stephanie coming back was a gorgeous moment. They did this like word association game with
Pictionary kind of.
It was like Pictionary, but it was with like Drag Race phrases.
Right.
And I do want to acknowledge the fact that unfortunately Chanel got the hardest one by far because hers was, is there an anal option?
Right. And I was thinking about that, like how would I do it? And I think I would have drawn a face that was like upset looking and they had like a pill. And put an X over that and then show like a pensive face and then show like a butt and draw like a
But no, instead Chanel was like, no, we're gonna do like leaky asshole.
Right. She drew like a gaping dark hole.
maybe she has a lot of experience with that, David. I don't
Hey.
know.
Who knows? I don't know what her
No.
life is. Look,
I'm not here to judge.
we
No,
don't
I'm
know
not
her
here to judge.
story. We don't know her life.
And I was like, I was like, okay, well, this is obviously the top 2 of the episode. How is this lip sync gonna go? Because these are 2 very different performers, neither of which were known for their exceptional lip syncing past on Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
And they get Jump in Line by Harry Belafonte.
Okay. I love that song.
I
But
do too.
I'm like, but is this a lip sync song? I don't know.
Apparently on Drag Race, I will say Magami tweeted something to the effect of like, I would give my firstborn child and like I would give anything to perform this song on Drag Race. I was like,
I thought it was fun.
Magami is the kind of queen that could do it.
I think it's a fun song. You just have to let go. And I feel like these 2 are not the let go type. Like they're very like reserved and very much like very into the performance.
This is not a song that I see either of them performing in their regular repertoire.
Right. I don't think that this is a song that they would put out there. Like I normally perform Jump in the Line like every night at the club. No, but I feel like certain queens could take this song and just have the most fun with it. And
Nina.
it'd be really good.
Nina.
Okay.
I think Nina could.
I've never seen her perform, but yeah, I just think it's just certain people who I feel like you give them something like this and they would have the best time with it. They would turn it out and you'd be like, oh my gosh.
Honestly, Jimbo.
Probably Jimbo would eat
I
it
think
up.
Jimbo. I think Jimbo could eat this up.
I think Jimbo would eat it up. You know who else I think? Hanaconda. I think Hanaconda would eat this song up. Like you give her just because it's the whole jump in the line. And like I didn't even know this part of the song existed. How much I seen this too. When they were like, jump in the line.
Oh yeah.
I thought that part was a part of the song. I was like, I would have had so much fun with that.
Because I'm so used to only hearing the part that I hear on TikTok. I gotta be honest. Like I've heard the song before, so I knew the song, but I was like, oh, it is like a full situation.
Like I've only heard the song that throughout like movies like Beetlejuice when they did on Beetlejuice. Like they didn't do that part. And so I was like, oh, I don't know that part existed. But I love that song. Yeah, they did it at the end of Beetlejuice. Jump in the line.
Yeah.
You were thinking of Dale. Yeah, that's the
regarding the lip sync, I think there was a clear winner, but I don't think either of them were all that great.
Yeah, and I think there was a clear winner, but Twitter disagrees with me on it. So,
who do you think was the clear winner?
For me, Plastique definitely won this.
Oh,
I thought Gottmik was bad, straight up, and I don't think either of them were great. But I thought Gottmik, like even like she got frazzled when Plastique was in front of her and just kind of stopped what she was doing and just was like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "That's not very good." And then there's a part where she's like clapping, and it's like extremely lazy. But I do think she probably sold it in her face a little bit better than Plastique. But Plastique gave a like more of a performance behind it. And I kept seeing people on Twitter being like, "Oh, Plastique didn't know the words," and I'm like, "Well, I didn't notice that." So I rewatch it, and I'm like, "Where? She didn't drop any of the words."
Right.
I don't think she didn't drop the words.
For me personally, I thought Gottmik won only because I thought that Gottmik brought. It's kind of a similar situation for me, not nearly as good, but a similar situation to me as the Angie and Georgia lip sync, where I feel like Gottmik understood the vibe of the song. And I'm like, Plastique, why are you doing a dip to Harry Belafonte?
It was a good dip, though.
It was a good dip. She is a good performer, but I don't feel like her energy matched the song.
I would have grabbed the other person, like, hey, jump in the line, do a whole little, like a conga line or something, like, hey, jump. Because it really is not a dip that kind of song. It's more of a party song. Like, you want to dance, it's not like, oh, I want to do some tricks. Even though Even though you could do it, it's just when the right time to do it. Like if you want to do like a little duck walk in that song, it would have been perfect. Like jump up,
or do a Morphine Love Dion slow split. That would have been great.
I mean, just da 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 da.
Where Plastique did the dip, I was like, I wouldn't have done a dip there, personally. But that's
her back bend too.
And then my favorite part was when Gottmik mocked her back bend.
Yeah, but not nearly as good though.
But that's the point.
Like I can't do it like you, but I'm gonna act like I can. I personally thought that. I don't know. I didn't care for either one of them, honestly.
Yeah. I don't think this is a lip sync we're going to be talking about at the end of this year. Let's go ahead and say that much at least. But yeah, I think based on the challenge itself, they probably should have given the win to Plastique.
I just want to know what was going through the producers' heads, knowing what cast you have, knowing what challenge it is, knowing who's most likely to do well. Why pick this song for this week? It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all. I was like this challenge with this guest judge with this lip sync song, like it doesn't, unless you're trying to challenge these girls to do something outside of their repertoire.
Which I mean, both of these girls were challenged outside of their repertoire, so they did not answer the call to the challenge to me.
Yeah, but we do end up with Gottmik winning the lip sync. I think I agree, but again, I think my scores are probably going to be like very, very similar. So I don't necessarily see it as like a, oh my God, Gottmik slayed.
Right. Yeah. No.
So I looked because I had to remember her current lip sync track record on Drag Race is 2-1.
Who is the second person she beat?
Utica.
Oh.
Because they did the premiere to I'm sick of rumors starting. The when they had Lindsay Lohan.
I knew that one. But she beat her twice, is what you're saying?
No, it's 2-1. Her two wins are against Utica and Plastique.
Okay. Well, I said what's the second one? Because I knew the first one was rumors.
The one we just talked about, David.
Oh.
Who she lose to?
Simone.
Sorry, I thought you meant 2-1 from her original season.
Oh, going into this? No. Now her track record is 2-1.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sorry. No, because she lost to Simone in the finale.
Right, I knew that.
Yeah. Because Simone was going to win that season. But Gottmik wins the lip sync, and I really didn't know who she was going to cut off. But I'm not surprised that it ended up being Angie. That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
It didn't surprise me, but I think it's a bad precedent to set. Because you're saying, oh, you already have a win. I'm going to snip you. Okay, so what is everybody else supposed to do?
So if Mick is not in the top next week, they're all going to cut off Mick.
Free game, guys. This is what the precedent is. Cut the person who just won. It doesn't make sense.
We'll talk about what the challenge is for next week. I think Mick might be in the top again. So, like, I could see it happening. But yeah, Angie gets cut off. I'm upset about it, personally. But it is what it is. So, before I forget, let's do a draft update.
You're gonna have to start giving me more warning before you do.
For future reference, David, it's going to be after we talk about who gets cut off.
But I usually have my own notes pulled up, so then I have to close out of them. And
well, Julie, maybe you should have thought about that before I didn't tell you that that's what I was going to do.
I'm about to say, or.
So, yeah. So you were after episode 1, you were leading the draft, Logan, with 7 points, but now the battle is very close. Brooke is in last place with 10.5 points. Brooke has Roxy and Georges on her team, and then Logan and I are actually tied for second place right now. Logan, you have Chanel and Angeria, correct?
Period. Yes.
And I have Nina and Gottmik.
Yeah.
And so leading the draft with 12 points, only 1 point ahead of us, is Kamorian. And Kamorian has Plastique and Vanjie.
Lovely.
Yep, pretty
Lovely,
close.
lovely. Yep. And we get the preview for next week, and we find out that next week is Snatch Game
Of love.
Of
Of love.
I wonder if we're going to get 2 from each person, like on all winners. Probably not. If they're doing Snatch Game of Love.
I don't think they will.
Yeah.
I think that was an all winners specific thing, which makes sense because it's all winners. Like you should, be able to do that. But Gottmik is a Snatch Game winner, so it would not surprise me if she ended up in the top.
I see what you're saying. I think she had a very specific character that she could do well. And
I agree with that.
It might be difficult finding another, like, where lightning can strike twice on that. But I do think Nina is the one to watch out for.
Absolutely.
So it's Nina and Who for me as the top 2.
Yeah. That's kind
Could
of
be Angie.
where I'm at. And I think it's very, very smart for Mick to block Angie here. Because Angie did not, to be fair, Angie didn't do that great.
She didn't, but I think she just picked the wrong person. I think
don't do Tammy Brown.
Right. I think she could do well with a lot of people.
I think so too. I wonder if we'll get Snatch Game redemptions from some of the girls that did not do well. I'm worried for Miss Roxy. I'm worried for Roxy.
I'm worried for Georges.
I'm worried for Georges. I'm worried for Plastique. And this will be Chanel's first Snatch Game.
Well, she did do Lucille Ball in,
but that wasn't. That was the Gaffin. That wasn't Snatch Game.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see what Chanel brings to Snatch Game. I think Chanel's the big wild card, I guess, because we've never seen her do it.
She might do Lucille Ball again. Who knows?
That would be fun if she did. Who else did I not mention?
We talked about everybody but Vanjie.
And Vanjie didn't do bad on her Snatch Game either. You don't remember who she did?
No.
She did the Cash Me Outside girl.
Okay, that's what I had in my brain, but I'm like, is that accurate? Yeah.
But she basically just did Vanjie.
Yeah.
So, but we will see. I'm very excited to talk about Snatch Game next week. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. We'll see. I do not know who that guest judge is.
I missed it.
I got to be honest. I don't know who that woman is. She looked beautiful, but I was like, I don't know who this woman is. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here, but make sure to check out our companion episode where we dive into the ball. We got a lot of looks to talk about, so make sure to check us out for that. In the meantime, subscribe, like, and share on your way out. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode recap. Let us know all your thoughts down in the description below. While you're down in the comments below. While you're down there, check out the description below for all of our YouTube channel links, our audio podcast links, and our membership channel links, as well as our social links at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, our personal social media links, and also the link to get your merch, including but not limited to Cut Mug. Ooh. With that being said, we're going to get out of here. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
Bye-bye.
Eve.
Okay, I believe you.